Colby, do you want to cover the Pitt Seattle game
Yeah,
from Sunday night?
so Pittsburgh eked out a win in overtime over the Seattle Seahawks. Big Ben, not a really good game. Missed a lot of easy throws, but he went 29 for 40 for 229 yards, a touchdown. He had two interceptions, and it seems that that's the way that he is playing now. He should have had two interceptions to Alexander Johnson in the Denver week, and then Mr. Jamal Adams or Blitz Boy drops two easy interceptions in this game. And then for the run game, Najee had 24 carries for 81 yards. Deontay Johnson had a carry for 25 yards, no touchdowns. Deontay Johnson also had 9 catches, 71 yards. Najee also had six catches, 46 yards, and a touchdown. I think that puts him over 600 yards from scrimmage for these first 6 weeks. So, and then
Pretty
for
good numbers.
mhm. So for the Seattle side, Geno Smith went 23 for 32 for 209 yards and a touchdown. He didn't look good in the first half. The Seahawks weren't really also running the ball, but once in the third quarter, once everything started going into their side, I feel like they got Alex Collins going in the third quarter. It really opened up the passing game for Geno in the third and fourth quarter. But Alex Collins had 20 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown, most of them coming in the third quarter. DK had 6 catches for 58 yards. And I want to get y'all's guys' takes on what should he have done on that final play, because it seems to have Shannon Sharp and those two are just going at each other right now.
I feel like you got to go out of bounds, right? I mean, that was the move. Like, I'm not crazy in that, right?
No,
Just
I
get out
think
of bounds.
yeah, I think it just makes sense. You go down and stop the clock,
But
or go out of bounds.
he's trying to force his point that, or not trying to force his point, but he obviously kept trying to go forward and score a touchdown, and then he fumbled. And I don't think they should have had 3 seconds left on the clock whenever they finally hit the whistle to snap the ball. I thought it should have been around like 2 seconds one, and the game should have been over. But we ended up going to overtime, and then T.J. Watt sealed the game with his second sack of the game and a forced fumble that gave Chris Boswell the chance to make the game-winning kick.
It's unfortunate, like the way that played out for Gino, because I feel like I gave him a lot of credit last week for his veteran leadership, and everybody was saying, Gino's veteran leadership is gonna help this Seattle squad while Russell Wilson is out, and it seems like his veteran leadership didn't kick in on that last play, you know, and it kind of screwed them in the end.
Well, I mean, you're in overtime. You're putting the game on the quarterback's back, and you can't expect the backup quarterback to make Russell Wilson plays. You know what I mean? Like, you can't
Yeah.
expect him to, you know, pull into the bag of tricks and hurl the ball down the field and somehow magically DK or Tyler Lockett or whoever catches it. You know what
Well,
and
I'm not I'm
Gino,
not
he didn't have
saying
a
I'm not saying Geno Smith has to make Russell Wilson type plays. I don't think anybody is sitting here expecting him to make Russell Wilson type plays, but I think at some point, in your head, you remember what all you've learned throughout your career, and you're like, maybe I should do this instead. But you don't always have that time in the pocket or in the backfield. So
yeah.
I guess cut him some slack a little bit there, but at the same time, I feel like there was a better decision he could have made in both the end of the fourth quarter and in overtime.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. He, you can't expect Gino to make you just can't expect him to win you games. Whenever it comes down to the overtime against a defense like Pittsburgh, with guys like T.J. Watt lining up, Minka, you can't. Geno Smith's best football is still not necessarily uh, the best. I don't know how to word this without like completely trashing him, because I don't want to trash him because he's a good football player, but there's also a reason why he's a backup. And whenever you're in overtime, you need the win. The team's down. You just lost your starting quarterback. You need the extra motivation. Uh, I wasn't necessarily surprised that it was Geno Smith being the reason that Seattle lost that game in the end.
I mean, yeah, I think there's still some credit to be given, considering they still scored 20 points against that Steelers defense. They still hung around until the very end, but it's a lot of his. I won't say a lot of his plays. Some of his plays towards the end is what I feel like really cost Seattle. Not counting the 2 Jamal Adams dropped interceptions, but it doesn't completely fall on Geno Smith. But he did towards the end. He could have made better decisions.
100%.